Reacting to the Vikings Patriots preseason game week 2, it was not pretty, but we're going to break this thing down. Drake May and the Patriots starters, most of the Patriots starters anyway, I know 4/5 of their offensive line, their starters played the first two possessions of that game. And once the starters left, they left the Patriots up 7-0. Outside of that, beyond that, I want to start with the Vikings offense. At quarterback, Sam Howell and Brett Rippon combined for 3 whole ass points in the first half. That is terrible. They also combined for 2 turnovers, an interception, just poor decision making by Sam Howell, and a turnover on downs. Brett Rippon had 2 overthrows, both being past the end zone. So you had 2 cracks at it, 2 attempts. You want to connect at least on one of those for a touchdown. Instead, you got none. Congratulations. Max Brosmer, he was okay. Certainly not as good as he was the week before, the preseason game against the Texans. But while he was the quarterback for the entirety of the second half, he led the Vikings offense to 9 points. It's clear to me that Max Brosmer, out of all the options that you have for QB2, forget QB3, Max Brosmer should be your QB2. Even though he wasn't great today, I mean, we know what we have in Sam Howell. And quite honestly, I'm so tired of going down this road of arguing about backup quarterbacks when it comes to this team. Seems like we do this every year, and it ends up being the guy that has the most experience, not necessarily the guy that's the most talented. Sam Howell is Jameis Winston. Every touchdown he throws, he's going to throw an interception. And Brett Rippon is just awful. I wouldn't want any of those guys to make the final roster, although I'm completely expecting for Sam Howell to be the QB2. But I'm so exhausted from this being a yearly occurrence that I just don't give a damn anymore. So Sam Howell, yes, you stink, but congratulations. Hopefully Max Brosmer at least becomes the emergency QB3. But even still, Brett Rippon, more experience. I don't care anymore. Sticking with the offense, Xavier Scott, although he has some trouble running with the football in today's matchup, he was a factor in the passing game. 3 catches, 4 targets, 44 yards. He's a dual threat running back. So that makes at least 2 dual threat running backs with this team. Xavier Scott should make this roster, but that makes 2 dual threat running backs on this team with Aaron Jones and Xavier Scott. And again, staying with the offense, Lucky Jackson, after having a drop in Thursday's joint practice, had 2 drops today in the second quarter. Pair that with Jalen Naylor, who's also a drop merchant. There's no way in hell that you can roll through the first 3 weeks with Jalen Naylor as your wide receiver 2 and Lucky Jackson as your wide receiver 3. Just 2 guys who struggle to catch the football at the position of wide receiver. That's unacceptable. Sign Amari Cooper. Don't say I didn't warn you. And actually, going back to Xavier Scott, he had an 18-yard screen catch and run play. And I feel like for years, and not just with that one play, but I feel like throughout the preseason, I feel like for years now, the Vikings screen game has been ass. That is the case no more. The Vikings are going to have a dangerous screen game this year. And hopefully not just this year, but beyond this year. Let's go, man. Another improvement, not just the personnel, but player execution when it comes to the screen game. Let's go. And staying with the offense, Ty Chandler should be cut. It's year 4. He dropped a wide open pass over the middle. There's nothing left to see here. We know who he is. If you're going to drop passes like that, especially when you're wide open, no one's around you. It popped up like a volleyball, and you're already struggling as far as running between the tackles. What use is there for you at this point going into year 4? There is none. Ty Felton made a couple of impressive plays the last drive in the first half. With that said, outside of that, you didn't see much of him. He pretty much disappeared outside of the fumble he had on the kick return. Man, I'm a big fan of this guy, but it's going to be tough. Then again, at wide receiver, after Justin Jefferson, considering Addison's suspension, it's not like anyone's trying to run away with the wide receiver 2 or wide receiver 3 job. So maybe he will make the team. I have no idea. I also wouldn't be surprised if he didn't make the team. That would be so disappointing. I was rooting for you, man. And then this isn't even anything to do with the actual gameplay itself, but how about KOC talking to Paul Allen in the third quarter? That was with X's and O's, breaking it all down, calling the plays before the ball snaps. That was so amazing. I could listen to that kind of talk all the time. We need more of that. Will Riker, back-to-back perfect games. Good for you. Will Riker, you are back. And going to the defense. A couple of players that stood out, but for the most part, it was pretty ugly. The players that stood out to me, Kobe King. He had a big third down stop the first drive and a near sack in the second quarter. Bo Richter with a pass breakup. Gabe Murphy, a 3rd and goal TFL. All should make this final roster. Tyrion Ingram Dawkins had a big tackle for loss. And it's nice to know he's going to make the team, obviously, but it's nice to know that you're going to have depth in the trenches, at least on the defensive side of the ball. On the offensive line, I guess we'll take what we can get. And what we have right now is a stacked ass starting unit. And I'll take it. The secondary, though, missed tackles was the big issue, including Jay Ward with a missed tackle that led to a Patriots touchdown. Same play. Missed the tackle. Guy keeps running. Touchdown, Patriots. Missed tackles are inexcusable. This is fundamental football that we're talking about. And it was a problem all game long today. With that said, it will be really interesting to see the results of the final roster cuts to see who's left over to make the final team. Guys need to stop farting around when it comes to missing tackles. Because I tell you what, man, this team, starters, quality talent. Depth pieces, they've got a ton of talent as well. So those that may find themselves on the bubble or know that they're on the bubble, there's not a lot of room to F up anymore. Stop farting around. We'll see you next time.